So now is the outline for a fight in the Senate now taking shape, with President-elect Trump defending his choice for Secretary of State. Many Democrats will likely oppose Rex Tillerson, and some Republicans raising questions about his connections with Vladimir Putin in Russia. Senator Rand Paul serves on Homeland Security, Foreign Relations Committee with me now. And Senator, how are you doing? Good morning to you, and thank you for coming back here to our program. Will he be confirmed or not, do you think?
You know, I think in the end, yes. I think there will be some questions, and the hearings are good. I mean, we're supposed to give advice and consent, and I think there will be hearings, and we'll talk a lot about this. I think it's unfair to prejudge Mr. Tillerson and think that, because he had good relations in making deals around the world, that somehow makes him an unfit candidate. I think it may be the opposite, that having good relations with world leaders and being able to negotiate with them, you know, maybe that's exactly what you want in your chief diplomat.
Interesting. Do you think Marco Rubio went too far then? I mean, he was saying yesterday that he had serious concerns about the nominee. Did he speak too soon?
I think we'll wait and see. I think people have prejudged that, he got an award from Russia, therefore his chief interest would be Russia. I presume his chief interest will be America, and I wouldn't prejudge someone's patriotism or support of America by saying they have divided interests. I think when he worked for his company, his first interest was making money, and that is his job. You're by law bound to make money for your company, but making deals that are good. And the interesting thing about the business world is when you make a deal with either another country or another individual, both parties have to believe they made a good deal and that it was not an equal transaction, that both parties of the transaction gained by the transaction. Diplomacy is kind of the same way. If you're negotiating the end to a war, both sides have to save face. Even the losing party has to feel that this is the best outcome to make this deal. So I don't know. Negotiation is a real art, and I think that we shouldn't prejudge Tillerson before we hear more from him.
Okay. In a word, does he get confirmed or not? I mean, as you sit here right now, what do you think?
Likely yes.
Likely yes. Okay, Obamacare. Nancy Pelosi said this week. I don't think they, meaning Republicans, will repeal the Affordable Care Act, meaning Obamacare. Is she right or not?
She's dead wrong. We will repeal Obamacare. We promised the American people we'd do it. And the thing is if we do nothing, it's unraveling before our very eyes. Prices are skyrocketing. It isn't working. It isn't helping the very people it intended to help. If you are poor in America, the price of your insurance is rising dramatically. Obamacare has these high premiums, high deductibles. It just isn't working for anyone in the country. And so, yes, we need to repeal it. And then I think we should replace it with choice. More choices, more competition, and lower priced insurance.
She's saying it's not a political position. It's an economic reality.
Well, the economic reality is that the government doesn't do a very good job distributing anything, from the mail to anything the government gets their hands involved with. When you don't have the profit motive, or you have a partly profit motive and partly government coercion, you wind up with a disaster. And that's kind of what we have right now. And so I think we need to get government as much out of health care as we can and replace it with the marketplace, competition and lower prices.
Okay, then 2017, you're going to be busy. Tell our audience what the priorities are for a new Congress. How much of Mr. Trump's agenda will get through?
The number one thing a President Trump can do and a Republican Congress can do is repeal regulations that are killing jobs. In my state, we lost 20,000 jobs in the coal industry. Because President Obama did so much of this by executive order and regulatory order, President Trump can undo it on day one. Some of the ones that were done by law, we can repeal by law with a simple majority and send to President Trump's desk. These job-killing regulations, once they're gone, will allow the economy to begin growing again. The second step to that is we need to lower the taxes on businesses and individuals. American companies are leaving and going abroad because the taxes are lower. If we fix that, more companies will stay here and more jobs will be created.
And so I'm hearing regulations 1 and taxes 1A. Your relationship with him was rather curious during the primary campaign. How would you characterize it now?
I would say we had our moments, you know, I've got thick skin. I won't agree with the president-elect on everything, but when I do, I'm happy to be supportive. In fact, I tried to be a happy warrior even with President Obama. I didn't agree with maybe 90% of what he was for, but the 10% that I did agree with him on, I was happy to say publicly. Criminal justice reform, other things that I agree with President Obama on. I'll do the same with Trump. It's just a good thing is that I'll agree with a lot more with President Trump than I did with President Obama.
I got you. Okay, last question then. When you're walking down the street, when somebody talks to you in a restaurant and they say, you know, how's this going to work out? How do you phrase what you believe President Trump will be as Commander-in-Chief?
Very optimistic, particularly on foreign policy. He's now saying he doesn't want to build nations overseas. He wants to rebuild our country here. I agree completely with that. He doesn't believe in regime change. He thinks the Iraq war was a mistake. There are a lot of things I agree with President Trump on, and on those I'll be happy to be as helpful as I can.
Wow, that's a long way from Des Moines, Iowa. Wow, Senator, thank you for your time today. Rand Paul from Kentucky there in Washington, D.C. Thank you.